This is the Barbados Today Evening News for Thursday, April 27th. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary-Claire Williams. MP for St. Michael West Central James Paul says the latest downgrade of Trinidad and Tobago is a clear indication that Barbados is not the only Caribbean country experiencing economic difficulties. Yesterday, Moody's downgraded Port of Spain to BA1 from Baa3. It came 4 days after another international ratings agency, Standard & Poor's, took similar action. Barbados also suffered downgrades by the two agencies in February. But Paul says the public needs to show more support for the government in its effort to revive the ailing economy.
Trinidad got a downgrade. I don't hear Trinidadians belittling the Trinidad government and saying how they're doing such a bad job. But yet, we get a downgrade, and we have Bajans not even respecting the fact that we are doing a much better job in managing the state of affairs of this country. Okay? And we are respected even much more, okay, in terms of what we are doing. But we want to take a political opportunity to basically degrade the government. I am saying that we need to acknowledge the fact that this government is doing the best possible that it could do under the present circumstances, okay? And I really want to encourage Barbadians that instead of taking the opportunity to try to talk this thing away, it takes work to get it away.
Police are investigating the death of a cruise ship passenger this morning. Acting Public Relations Officer Inspector Stephen Griffith confirmed that a visitor to the island collapsed on Hinks Street and subsequently died. Caribbean Integrated Financial Services, CARIFS, today issued a reminder to merchants that they should not implement a minimum spend requirement on consumers who use their debit cards to pay for goods. CARIFS says it has received numerous complaints from consumers who were not allowed to use their cards for transactions which fell below the required amounts set by some merchants. The company says its regulations specifically prohibit merchants from directly or indirectly enforcing a minimum spend for point-of-sale purchases. Youth and Culture Minister Stephen Lashley is encouraging students to examine the changes they can make to promote self-reparations. Lashley was speaking to students from several nursery, primary and secondary schools this morning at the official handover of the symbolic self-reparations baton at the Emancipation Statue in Hackett Hall. He said this is necessary as it will also help the students to learn more about their African heritage.
Most of us, I believe all of us, are descendants of African slaves, and therefore we feel that you should be made aware of your ancestry and the rich African culture that is part of the whole cultural identity of us as Barbadians.
This morning's ceremony was held ahead of the observation of National Heroes Day tomorrow. Lashley also called on the students to remember the sacrifices of all of the island's national heroes.
I believe that as we are poised to celebrate and recognize another National Heroes Day, that we must remember these solemn principles. We must remember the significant contribution of all of our heroes, and we should ensure that we respect them, that we respect in our daily lives what they have done to contribute to the development of Barbados.
Medical students at the University of the West Indies now have another high standard to aim for with the introduction of the George Allen Prize for the most outstanding student in medicine. Principal of the Cave Hill campus, Professor Udine Barito, announced the award last night at a farewell dinner for retiring Chancellor Sir George Allen. She said the award will be available to each UWI campus and will encourage students to follow the outstanding academic career of Sir George.
From his first award in 1957 of the University Gold Medal for the Best Clinical Student in Medicine to the 2008 Inter-American Heart Foundation Science of Peace Award and the 18 regional and international awards which these two brackets, Sir George demonstrates for those who are yet to come what is indeed possible. It is with the idea of motivating future doctors that I'm very pleased to announce that the Faculty of Medical Sciences at the Cave Hill campus establishes the George Allen Prize for the most outstanding student in medicine. 5-year MBBS program. This new annual award echoes the 60-year-old university gold medal for the best clinical student in medicine, which Sir George earned in 1957. More importantly, the new award honors the legacy of one of our finest physicians and establishes continuity with future generations of doctors.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Good morning, Phillips & Company, may I help? Oh, certainly. One moment, please. Miss Phillips?
Yeah?
There's a lady on the line from the Nation newspaper who would like to speak with you.
The Nation? Will she go on?
Well, they're trying to sell us some ads.
Look, don't make me laugh this morning. Ads in the Nation? They're real expensive, and for what here, nobody ain't buying them papers no more. Nobody want to steal news. I hear reading Barbados Today online for free. So I tell she thanks for calling, but no thanks. We just advertising Barbados Today, families. Tell she is Barbados Today all the way.
Okay, I'll pass on the message. Ma'am, are you still there? Oh, she put it down.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We're back now with news from the region, and the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Perry Christie, is reiterating calls for a peaceful campaign ahead of next month's general election. His appeal comes amid complaints by the political parties of their campaign material being defaced in the lead-up to the poll. We get more in this report from ZNS News.
The Prime Minister says the legacy of Bahamian politics was such that political leaders withstood criticism and did not retaliate in a manner that would damage the country's reputation. Today, things have changed.
There's a very tenuous line between the manifestation of hatred and violence. And we must exercise the greatest care as citizens of our country to ensure that we set a standard for our democracy, which has demonstrated that change can take place and takes place fluidly from one to the other.
Political parties have complained about their paraphernalia being defaced or destroyed. Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie says while campaigning, a greater degree of care must be exercised.
Because if you jump into my yard, as they have done, and tear down my posters, as they have done, what do you expect me to do? I'm the average person. It means that you want a poster-less election. And when you have me pulling down yours and you pulling down mine, what do you expect to happen? At some stage, there's confrontation.
And finally, on the international scene, U.S. Republicans appear to be making headway in their efforts to build support for a revised plan to overhaul the healthcare system. But House Speaker Paul Ryan says they have not yet decided when to vote. Their first attempt to repeal the Affordable Care Act, known as Obamacare, failed last month. We get more in this Reuters report.
As you saw, we posted an amendment to the American Health Care Act.
House Speaker Paul Ryan on Thursday touting a new attempt by Republicans to replace Obamacare with their own plan after party divisions sank their first attempt a month ago. Ryan, along with President Trump, catching flack that time for trying to ram it through. Now working to get Republicans singing as one, conservatives, moderates, and all.
This amendment was a result of constructive conversations among our members. It gives states more flexibility and tools to reduce premiums and increase choices.
Last time, conservatives in the House Freedom Caucus broke away, saying his plan didn't go far enough to roll back Obamacare. The new amendment put forward by moderate Pete MacArthur would allow states to opt out of many of the current requirements conservatives don't like covering maternity care and prescription drugs. Members of the Freedom Caucus saying they can live with that. But now it's the moderates who may be the holdouts, some going along, others who have been getting an earful from constituents back home, fearful the new plan might force older Americans and people with pre-existing conditions to pay more. The White House has been pushing Congress to vote this week before President Trump's 100-day milestone.
That's news this evening. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Or you can tune in to Mix 96.9 FM for more news. I am Marie Claire Williams. Have a good evening.